Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. And I, as always, am your host. My name is Christopher Walk, and I'm a 17-year-old graphic design student from Austria, and I'm kind of deeply into self development and seeing more in life. And with that being said, we are going to talk about How to Write Copy That Sells by Ray Edwards, which, and I hope you can see this, and yes, you can see it properly. Here's the cover, and I've took that book, or this summary of the book by the samuelthomasdavis.com website, because I think that writing copies is actually a thing that is very, very important, especially for me as some kind of online, online content producer, because to reach the persons I want to reach, the audience that I want to reach, I have to know which titles I have to use, for example, on YouTube, but also on Instagram, because what does my audience really need? And if I know what they need, I can provide certain terms that they are interested in, and so they will look at my content more often if I know them. And I hope that I get these informations on what are some certain triggers people have and so on through the summary. But let's see the book in 3 sentences. The first one is, there's virtually no other skill that can make us as much money as copywriting, which I think is totally true. But the thing is, you shouldn't really do it as, some kind of clickbait where it's just, finding titles and phrases and certain things that just catch people, but then the actual content is just, pretty shit. This isn't the intent of good copywriting. Either bringing your product to the people who need this product. The second one is, you must distill your big idea or copy thesis down to a single clear sentence, which is pretty hard because your thoughts might actually be pretty I don't know how I should say, but what you think isn't always just really easy to explain actually. And therefore it's good to know how to really put it into one sentence. And the third one is, the more accurately you can describe your reader's problem in terms they relate to, the more they instinctively feel that you must have an answer to that problem, which is basically the same thing as I was talking about just before. Just knowing what their trigger is of these kind of people you really want to reach with your content, and to show them that you actually have an answer for their problem, which is, I think, at my point of view, always the thing with marketing. There's just problems, and marketers just solve problems and change things. And for that, I will go to the 5 big ideas this book provides for you. The first one is, make the reader aware of the cost of indecision, which basically means, I think, to show them what will happen if they do not do anything or if they do not decide. The second one is, make certain that you focus 80% of your copy should focus on transformation itself, which I don't really know what this is about. The third one is, copy that converts at a high rate usually has a lot of bullets. I think bullets in terms of bullet points, and therefore is just pretty complex, which I think is, totally, makes totally sense, because if they have a high conversion rate, which means that you gain a lot of traction through this or making a lot of sales through this, as I know it. If I'm saying anything wrong, you can just really please you to really correct me so that everybody gets it right. And the fourth one is, as much as 30% of your sales may come in the week after your big launch day. Okay. And the fifth one is stories are the process by which we learn, live, and believe anything. And also in terms of marketing, everything is about stories. We all tell stories, and the better you can tell stories, the better you can market your product or your service, whatever you're doing. And it's also something that studies have shown, I think, I'm not really sure, that you can really remember stories pretty easily. And therefore we all, there is especially some kind of trick to remember everything a little bit better if you're just learning for a test or an exam or whatever, is to make a story out of all these. Maybe you have to learn dates, and so you make a story out of these dates and or just certain facts of what you have to learn, which is totally common. And I think you have already done this maybe, and yeah, it just came to my mind, and I will always talk about things that come to my mind as I'm speaking, and I hope that some kind of contributes to what you really want to hear through these videos, and just contributes you and benefits you and serves you with what you need. And I've created some sort of pop shots or pop filter for my smartphone, or better said microphone, so that these sounds and aren't that bad for you to listen to, because also in terms of the post-production of the audio, sometimes it may be a little bit disturbing and or not really nice to listen to, because some areas of the audio are just some kind of bad to edit, and or just not everything is the same way, also because I'm not always like this or like this or like this, and so I just try to minimize the problems I have with my audio, and this all on a budget, which is one of the most important things for me, because I do not really have some money yet to spend on all these things to make it better actually, but because of that I'm just trying to make it better with what I have, and I've always done that my entire life long, and yeah, if that's good or bad I don't know. But let's look at the actual summary of the book, and I've looked at it just before, and there's quite a lot of it, and I think we will go through this one a few episodes long, and I'm just now thinking about not doing everything, making this the first episode and the next day I will do this again, and so on and so on. I think I will split it up some kind of. But let's see, enough talking. I shouldn't talk enough. Not enough, but I shouldn't talk as much as I'm doing right now, because you actually want to hear something interesting, and I as well. So, me as well, sorry. How to write copy that sells summary. Advertising, and by extension copywriting, which is the written form of ads, is simply salesmanship in print, which is totally understandable. There is virtually no other skill that can make you as much money as copywriting. Ask yourself, what are you selling and how does it benefit the customer? And I think, in my point of view, it's always important that you just have a product or have something, a service, I don't know what you have, that contributes someone or benefits someone. Just, you can market a product very good, but if the product is just total shit, you won't sell anything. And so, yeah, with that being said, we will go on. You must distill your big idea or copy thesis down to a single clear sentence. And the last one, your audience can solve the problem by using your product, because how it solves the problem. So any, which is meant your audience, can solve the problem by using your product, because how it solves the problem, which is some kind of, you should put in what your audience is and what your problem is and so on to really see what you really want to achieve. And that's, I think, also pretty important, because often you just are in your mood of thinking and you're just thinking all the time and doing something, and you actually aren't aware of being pretty much away from your end goal and what you actually wanted to do, or initially wanted to do. But let's see, and I'll go through the first really tip, which is the PASTOR, or PASTOR copywriting framework. The P stands for person, problem, and pain. The A for amplify and aspiration. The S for story, solution, and system. The T for transformation and testimony. And the O for offer, and the R for response. You must begin by identifying the person you are trying to reach with your message and understanding the problem that you are solving for them and the pain that probably causes. The simplest, most effective way to do this is to describe the problem in great detail. So, example, whom am I serving? I'm serving 17-year-old graphic design students from Austria. What problem may they have? They, I don't know, they have problems with using or finding the right typeface for their designs, for example. The more accurately you can describe your reader's problem in terms they relate to, the more they instinctively feel that you must have an answer to the problem, which contributes my thinking of you really have to know whom you're serving and know how they are acting, how they are speaking, and so on, so that you can really reach them at your fullest. Use the reader's own language. That was what I was talking about. Use the reader's language, the very words and phrases they use to describe the problem they want to solve. Which is important because, there are some different cultures, there are some different kinds of people, and there are some different classes of people in terms of income. And every one of these classes and or, how should I say? It's not racist. Racist is a little racist, but, where they come from. So there is a lot of things that can be used to describe your potential customer or your ideal customer. And this also reminds me of the long tail. Don't know if you have heard about this. It's actually, and I'll show you a picture for the YouTube watchers, the long tail, which is this one. It's actually some kind of graph, and the front of it is the head, and the long tail of it is the tail. And the longer you go into the tail, so this is the place where it's, the deepest and the most detailed, how should I say, detailed way of reaching someone. So let's say the heads are woman. In the middle of the long tail might be woman with brown hair, and on the very end of the long tail maybe a woman with brown hair, aged 30, with 2 children. And so you get really specific with whom you're serving and or whom you're wanting to target. And so the more you accurately you can describe your reader's problems, or your reader actually. You have to join a conversation that is already taking place in the reader's mind. You must first empathize with your reader and have the feelings they have. Then you must develop the feelings of excitement that come from knowing the problem can be solved. Amplify the consequences of not solving the problem and the aspiration the reader holds for the future. Which reminds me on, if you do not take action now, and this is in terms of pricing. which it really reminds me on pricing. That's very funny. You know, these TV commercials where they say, you know, it's only 30 minutes left for this price tag here, and you know, and then it's much expensiver and so on, much more expensive. Sorry, I'm always saying that wrong, and so on and so on, which just creates some kind of tension and some kind of aspiration, or you just show them the consequences. Then the consequence would be the price getting higher, and get the reader to fully experience the consequences of not solving a problem. You need to place a dollar cost on this failure to solve the problem when at all possible. Make the reader aware of the cost of indecision, which is, I think, just the same as amplify the consequence of not solving the problem. Help your prospect see the real long-term consequences of ignoring the problem. Okay? Whatever you're selling, whether it's a home study program, a book, a seminar, your consulting services, anything at all, what people are buying, it's not the stuff, it's the transformation. And now I really get what they mean. And it reminds me of, you know, a lot of people want to be rich, but actually being rich doesn't give you anything. Richness, or the money that comes with being rich, just gives you the opportunity to buy the things you always wanted, and especially buy yourself feelings. Why do you want a Ferrari? Because it feels good driving it, and you may feel the attention of others, and you may want, you know, I don't know, you always see you know, just some kind of dude driving around with a Ferrari and a lot of girls and so on and so on, and maybe you're willing to have this. And so you do not buy the Ferrari because it's a Ferrari. You buy it because of the feelings you get by driving it. But sorry for just a little bit besides the real facts. Whatever you're selling, whether it's a home study program, a book, a seminar, or consulting services, anything at all, what people are buying is not the stuff, it's the transformation. If you're buying a fitness program, you don't buy it because of the fitness program, you buy it because you want the transformation to be happen. Offer testimonials, real life stories of people who have successfully made the transformation that you are providing, to just some kind of tell them that it's actually working and that's worth the money. There are 3 questions people are asking when you sell them coaching, consulting, or instruction about anything. Has this person been able to do what they are describing for themselves? Has this person been able to teach? Just for the first point, which is pretty funny. It's always funny to see, you know, tutorials on YouTube where they show you to make something specific, and then they do not do it themselves correctly, or you know, as good enough, or good enough. I'm sorry, which is then always some kind of funny. But I'm thinking, like, you know, make a good tutorial and everything is fine. Has this person been able to teach other people to achieve the results they are describing? So have they done it yet for themselves, yet for others, and will the person be able to teach me how to achieve these results? And at least, so has this person done it for themselves? Has this person done it for somebody else? And could this person possibly be doing this for me? These are the 3 essential questions people seem to ask when they buy or want a coaching. Provide the prospect with proof that the answer to all of these questions is resounding. Yes. Make certain that you focus 80% of your copy on the transformation itself. Which then might be, correct me if I get it wrong, or if you have some own thoughts, please write it down in the description or DM me so that I can publish them to really some kind of tell people what other people are thinking, what you're thinking, so that all these people get the most out of it, and so you get the most out of it. But where did I stop? So 80% of your copy should be the transformation itself. In terms of a fitness program, would it then be some kind of, I'm selling you this program, and then I'm talking 80% about how you feel afterwards, or how you feel during it, or how you will actually transform, which explaining it with trainings or training plans is just some kind of irritating, because the transformation term is always the same, or on both these quote and in terms of training is the same, but not actually. And 20% of it may then actually be the fitness program itself. But the response request is one of the areas where copy tends to often be the weakest. The response request. Tell a customer exactly what to do in order to get your program, your consulting, your big book, etc., and remind them why it's important to do so. Example, I'm just loving this article for giving me an example of all these things. Hopefully, just put up in some kind of small space. This is just one paragraph, and it should be really explaining everything. And I think actually it's really one of the best articles I've ever read, and it's really nice to talk about. So, but I'll read the example. You are at the point of decision. You can either continue down the path of least resistance, the path you have already been traveling, or you can choose the road less traveled. The path of least resistance will probably result in you getting the same outcomes you have always received. But if you want something different to happen, if you want to change the direction of your health, or your relationships, or your finances, etc., you're going to have to do something different. Make a new choice and pursue your new outcome. Click the button below, fill out the order form, and we will immediately ship your entire package to you. It will contain everything you need to get started. The path of least resistance. So you then can see, the thing is, you're just buying some kind of package. And only the last very paragraph is about the package itself. The rest is only about how you might be feeling, or how you're actually feeling, or how it will be, and how it will contribute your life or make your life different than before. Which is just, I think, the 80% of it being the transformation itself, and the rest just being the product and describing the product or some kind of this. The 15 building blocks of sales letter. The first one is pre-head, also known as the eyebrow. The second one is the headline. The third, the deck copy. The fourth one, lead, body, subheads, report, bullet points, credibility, testimonials, value justification, risk reversal, bonuses, call to action, or explicit offer. And the 15th one is the PS. The headline is the ad for the rest of the ad, which is quite funny to read, but it's actually the truth, some kind of. All your headline has to do is make the reader want to keep on reading, specifically to get him or her to read the next sentence, or actually to read, to start reading initially, or in general start reading this whole ad. Without a good heading, nobody would ever read any advertising. Studies show that you have about 2 seconds to grab the attention of people who are reading your copy for the first time, and which will be declining sooner, because our attention, what is it called? Attention, this how much or how long does it take us, or how long we are taking or giving attention to something has very declined because of the years. Now we are like around goldfish level, seems like to be. I've read the last days, I think. The deck copy is the block of type that is usually in black bold type and set apart from the rest of the text. It comes between the headline and the beginning of the letter. The job of the deck copy is to reinforce the impact and expand on the idea purposed in the headline. You can also be used to arouse more curiosity. The lead is the very beginning of the body of the sales letter. The body is the bulk of your text, most of your sales letter. The subheads are smaller headlines that separate the major sections of your sales letter, and prospects never read anything at first, they never believe anything at first, and they never buy anything at first. Rapport is relationship building. People like or report, whatever, it's RAPPORT. People like three kinds of people. 1, those who are like themselves. 2, those they would like to be. And 3, those who like them back. So people that are the same as you are, people that you would like, and people that would like you back. Rapport demonstrates that you know the reader's pain, that you understand his or her problems, and that you have some common experiences that you can share that proves you understand his or her pain. A bullet point is a brief statement that identifies a single benefit offered by our product or service. Copy that converts at a high rate usually has a lot of bullets. You must build credibility with your prospects in order for them to lower the resistance they are naturally feeling in terms of buying things, I guess. So the resistance of buying something or really heading on in this sales letter. Establishing credibility will answer the top question that they have once they have started reading your letter. That is, why should I listen to what this person has to say? Which is often, as I read it, why should I listen to him? They often tell you like, I've been in this business for 15 years. I have a lot of experience. I have an MBA. I have a PhD. I'm super. I'm the best one, and so on and so on and so on. Testimonials is something I think is very, very important. To see that it has worked for someone else is just, a good thing against scams. Just you prove somebody that you're not a scam, you can actually do something and you're good at what you're doing. Testimonials are a third-party verification that your solution does what it claims to do. What it claims to do. It's actually a long... I'll go through it, I guess. Some kind of quickly, or maybe not. Let's see. I've already done this. The next best thing is to get a photograph of the person, not a studio photo, but a candidate shot, and include his or her full name and website address, or even better, his or her phone number. If you're just starting out, you could use quotes from famous people, as long as it's clear you're not implying that the famous person is personally endorsing your product. Value justification is where you start to talk about how valuable your product, service, or solution actually is to the user. And with this being said, I really have to thank you for listening to me if you're on the podcast, or watching me if you are on YouTube. And for this now, I hope you a very, very great time, whether it's day or night or midnight or noon or whatever. I wish you a pretty nice day. And I hope that I'll see you just pretty quick, maybe in the next episode. Maybe I've just met you in an episode before, I don't know, I can't say. But I wish you the best, and please, for this now, do me the favor and work on something you really, really love. Do not work on something you absolutely hate. It will just drown your soul, your body, and everything you have. Please, do me the favor and work on something you actually care about, and that's bringing some value to you and to others, and that's making you happy, and that's some kind of challenge in you, for example, and so on. Please do me the favor. You just works such a lot of time in your entire life, and spending this time with doing some crappy shit is just not It doesn't has to be. You can just do something you love and you're passionate about. And with this being said, here's the end. I really hope you're doing fine. I'll see you the next time, and I'll see you soon again.